Is that a non-nude humanoid mutant that I
Yeah,
saw there?
he had, well, most of a shirt and pants. Yeah.
Unacceptable.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
Who does he think he is? Who's he trying to be?
What does he think he's people?
Yeah. The audacity. Oh, we're going into VR cyberspace land.
This is what they thought the internet was in the 90s.
Yeah. Oh man. This looks cool though. Epithetica asks, so has John worked on other projects that we would have heard of?
I don't know. It depends how niche you go. I did the. I was the audio lead for 2 years on a game called High on Life
Oh yeah.
recently. Okay.
Yeah, that game was great.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Um. What else? I was the audio director on a game called Mortal Shell. If
Okay.
anyone knows that one, it's a Souls-like. It came out in 2020. That Quidditch game that just got announced recently. I helped out with that,
Huh.
but that was a while ago. I'm no longer with them, and that's still in development. A game for Microsoft called Ara, History Untold. It's a 4X game that got announced. It's not out yet, but
Okay.
it's announced.
Okay, so now we can go through here. Oh yeah, we're moving through the internet now.
And now you're gonna see why Cyberspace completely ate up the sound voice budget.
This sounds amazing.
Yeah, well that's good. There's a lot going on sound-wise in here.
And I guess we follow the green light. Sounds good. Green means go, right?
Green means go.
I'm such a good hacker.
This is what a cybersecurity degree gets you.
Yep.
You know, cyberspace for the longest time was like an unanswered question. We didn't know what we were gonna do.
Yeah.
Because the original game, cyberspace is really tough.
Okay.
In the original game, just
Okay.
to like navigate. It's all completely wireframe, so you can see like every part of the level when you look around.
Oh, interesting.
And it
Okay.
makes it really hard to just know
Yeah.
what's going on. And we didn't know what we were gonna do for cyberspace for the longest time.
Yep.
Like there were talks of like completely different mini games than this, like turning it into just a completely different mini game. But in the end, we just ended up doing something that's very similar to the original in terms of style, where it's like 6 degrees of freedom game,
Yeah.
and just did some bonkers VFX for
Yeah.
the environment to make it look dope as shit.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I think it was the right call.
mission accomplished. It looks great.
Yeah, there's some totally wacky stuff going on in the shaders to make what you're seeing happen.
Yeah, it looks super cool.
And I gotta make just straight up techno music for it.
Easy. I mean, maybe not
Easy.
easy, but like
Very easy. Job's too easy.
make it sound cool. Zinger says, "Congrats to Night Dive for breaking the System Shock remake curse and earning my first pre-order ever." Nice.
The curse.
Yeah.
Another little piece of trivia in the
snap.
original game. I don't know if it's the case in this game. It might be. I'd have to actually look. But in the original game, on the walls it would play Conway's Game of Life,
Okay.
which is like this. It's there's this guy Conway in the 70s who he's a mathematician, and he developed like a pattern of like cellular dividing, and he called it
Okay.
the Game of Life, and that's
Okay,
what would
yeah.
play on the walls in the original one because it was all a bunch of squares that were used as like a grid pattern. I don't know if we carry that forward into this game. I feel like we probably did, just because it seems like a really cool nod, and that's like 70s math, so that's really easy, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
That one might not be the best for these guys.
Yeah, so the game does a lot of that. We got that from the original too, where like different enemy types have different strengths and
Sure.
weaknesses. So, different enemies. The mag pulses some sort of energy type. And pipe is physical. There's kinetic weapons. And they all work differently. So you have to kind of plan what weapons you're going to use for what situations. Kind of a cool thing, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, the first game that I experienced that was Bioshock, where like, oh, different weapons do better damage on different types of enemies.
Yep.
Whether that be electrical or bullets or sort of elemental type stuff, and that was like, I remember playing that game, and that was like a revolutionary concept to me. Like, you mean it's not just pew pew? There's different pew pews? What?
There's different pew pews.
There's different pew pews.
Fire doesn't work so good on metal boys.
Exactly, yeah. But works really well on like biological things.
Mm-hmm. On naked mutant boys.
And naked mutant boys, yeah. So Atlas wants to know, how many times did you play the original while working on the remake?
That's like a weird question because, like, how many times did I play through it, or how many times did I start it? Because when you work on a game, it's like I heard there's developers in chat, right? So it's not like you're not using it as a user would. So the majority of my time working on this game, for instance, isn't spent like playing the game like you're doing now. It's like I have test maps. I'm looking at one specific thing. I'm working on an enemy, so I go into my test map. I drop in that enemy. I go through all of its behavior to try to make sure that everything's working as it should be. So I haven't actually like even played this game through, which is why part of the reason I'm watching streams right now, to make sure it's all like functioning as I think it should.
Fair enough.
But I've seen like all the different parts of this game isolated from one another.
Sure.
Like I've gone through all the decks, flown through, seen every room, just not in the experience that you have.
Right.
So in the same way, how many times have I played the original game? Like a badillion times, but how many times have I actually like played through it is actually 0. I've never beaten the original game. I suck at it so bad. But I've played a ton of it. Like Daniel, who's a guy on the team, is like a shockaholic, and so like he has like saves that he provided on each deck, and so I load in these different saves, be able to play through, see what these different decks are like, what the different enemies are, that sort of thing. So I don't know. I've played it a lot and a little, I guess. I've never actually been able to play it as a player because I started working on this game before I played the first System Shock, and so even from the get-go, it was like you experience the game differently when you're looking at it for work and inspiration. I'm gonna check in now with the music and where that's been. It's getting late, so after this question, I gotta get rolling here. But
I appreciate all your generous time.
Of course, like I said, I really enjoyed seeing people play the game, and like I said, I get a lot out of this, just R&D wise, of like how things are performing, and being able to talk to you firsthand. You're playing the game, you've been playing the game for a while now.
Yep.
So how I have a feeling on how it's performing, just because how I'm seeing how you're playing. But what's your experience been since we last checked in?
Are you in general, or with specifically the audio stuff, or
music system? How's the music felt so far?
It feels great. Yeah, like it. I mean, the different, like, especially like the change from here to Cyberspace. There we go. That was a super cool change that like really matched the visual, because I think the visuals in there were super different, and I appreciate that the audio also matched that very distinct change in a very parallel kind of way. That was really good. And but yeah, other than that, like there's a bunch of different like there's a lot of like subtle audio stuff that I really appreciate, both for atmospheric and sort of world building. Like, I don't know, you walk by a vent thing, and then you hear the air of a vent or something sputtering or whatever. And the fact that it's got positional audio is always fantastic, right? Like whether that be for ambiance stuff, like that I was talking about here, or there's one time where I knew there was an enemy in front of me somewhere, but there was walls, I couldn't see him, but being able to hear like, oh, he's obviously coming around the left side of that wall, right, and then I can go around the right side and get behind him and stuff. It's been really, really good, really immersive. So
Cool. And what are you hearing? What are you hearing in terms of music right now?
right now it's very, very atmospheric. Like it's mostly just sort of subtle tones that are fading in and out. In sort
I
of
feel like it's probably been that way a while, hasn't it?
yeah. That seems to be sort of the default sound that I'm getting. I haven't noticed any like in some games, like even the ambient background hum changes from like biome to biome, for example. I've noticed this has mostly been this same the same sort of ethereal electronic ethereal noise or a background hum throughout most of it.
Right. Okay, so why that is, and like I said, I had a feeling that that's what you're going to say just by virtue of seeing what's been going on. I told you about the exploration and combat intensities before they bring in these layers, right? The thing that drives exploration intensity is uncovering the map. And for a while, you've been, you haven't really uncovered much recently. You've been doing a lot of back and forth stuff.
Yeah.
So the exploration intensity has likely decayed down to almost nothing, and it's been sitting at like the lowest sort of exploration intensity. So you likely haven't been getting a lot of like harmonic or melodic things so much as just like the lower intensity drone layers. So today, actually, I just made a commit, and this was actually after talking with the Night Dive Discord, just gathering thoughts there.
Yeah.
So now uncovering the map after the next patch, whenever that sneaks in, uncovering the map is going to bump the exploration intensity a little higher, as well as the music decays a little bit slower. So in this case, you've been kind of backtracking for a while, so you'd still probably be at nothing. But the hope is that you'd get, I think, a little more some of the guitar layers and harmonic stuff. It looks like a lot of this deck is explored already, just looking at the map. Maybe there's a big chunk on like the north and northeast ends.
Yeah, that's where we're headed now.
Yeah, so once you get in there, then you might notice a lot more melodic and harmonic layers that come in. But I don't know, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm praying that it does. If it doesn't,
hopefully it works. Another thing. Oh, we found a button. We do like buttons.
I'm not sure if it's the same button, but the button is actually the oldest sound in the game. I know it's on the doors. Like there's those doors that you open that have the green button on them, and they go be-doo-doop.
Yep.
That's the oldest sound in the game.
Oh wow.
It
was newly created, or is it an old sound?
No, it's it's new for this game, but it was made back in 2015 or 2016 or something.
But it's not like from the original.
No, there's no sounds that are in this game that are from the original. They've all the sounds that you're hearing are made for this game from the ground up.
Cool.
But that button sound was sort of modeled like in its shape and cadence after the buttons in System Shock 2.
Yeah, position ourselves. There, dead. There we go.
Perfect. Are you winning?
I am winning, yeah. I killed some dudes.
And I just unmuted, and I hear some high-intensity exploration music. So we're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
We made it. We made it to another section.
Great. We made the video game.
We did.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm gonna leave you with one more piece of trivia because you messaged there. You said something, which was that combat boost, the Berserk patch.
Yep.
little piece of trivia about that. In the original game in System Shock, those Berserk patches existed, and they actually had to be censored in Germany.
Oh.
Because when you use those Berserk patches, they give you VFX on the screen.
Yeah.
And Germany equated that to drug use in the game,
Oh.
which is illegal to show in media. So
Yeah.
they had to censor out all of the effects in the German version only. All right. Well, with that, I appreciate you having me and letting me hang out and let me pick your brain about the music.
Yeah, my pleasure. It was such a treat having you talk about your what all you've done with this game and development and stuff, and super generous with your time. I appreciate it so much. It's been a pleasure and an honor. Yeah, the chat's saying like this has been awesome. Yeah.
Good. Glad to hear it. Well,
Yeah.
I hope you and everyone else enjoys the game. We put a lot of time into it.
Yeah, it's been great so far.
Way too much time.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, it's shown. You should be very proud of what you guys have accomplished here.
Good. We are. The game's done. We're all really happy with the response we've gotten. It's been overwhelming. Everyone seems to really like it that we've seen, and you know, I'm not going to turn down people saying that they like my music.
Yeah. Yeah, chat, go support the devs, go buy the game, use the Humble Bundle link. That helps out both me and them. It's great. Everybody wins. And you guys get a good game.
And the soundtrack is available on Bandcamp if you want to get that and hear these beats outside of it.
Sweet. Awesome. Yeah, Zinger says, thanks for the insight and for the remake. Long time coming. You guys did great. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm gonna post do you mind if I post a link to
yeah,
the soundtrack?
post whatever links you want. Yeah, post a link to the soundtrack or anything else there that you want to promote.
All right, done.
Awesome. Yeah, John, thanks so much.
Of course. You too. Have a good night.
You too. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, so that was amazing. He was so generous with his time for hanging out so long and sharing so many cool tidbits from the game and from the development and the audio engineering and stuff. Yeah, he's super funny, solid guy. I wish I was better at multitasking, at like interviewing and playing the game. But it was a pleasure to have him on.